This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Yeah, what's happening? We about to bring that action. Gotta hold it down for my Seattle Kraken. Ay, we going beneath the waves. We going beneath the waves. Get it hype, step onto the ice. Ready for some action. Release the Kraken. Ay, we going beneath the waves. Going beneath the waves.
What's up, everyone, and welcome into the Beneath the Waves podcast, your weekly recap of all things Seattle hockey and beyond. I am Matt.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Derek. As always, we have to give a super special shout out to Heather, who is continuing her fantastic coverage of PWHL Seattle for the hockey news. The PWHL schedule dropped last week, so we're super close to the start of PWHL Seattle's first season. So you can look forward to hearing from her very, very soon. One thing, I've said this to you guys before, but just how personal these PWHL players get with Heather in their interviews has been amazing to see. It gave me perspective on what, these gruff, stone cold serious NHL players might be like beneath the surface. And it's definitely a very intimate feel to the interviews so far, and just great stuff. So make sure you check out the link in the show notes to see all of her work.
You missed the prime opportunity to say beneath the waves instead of beneath the surface. Just going to lay that out there.
I knew that was going to get said.
All right, for us over here, it is now episode 40. We hit the big 4-0 on the BTW pod, and we are so very close to the return of regular season Kraken hockey. It is a mere days away by the time this comes out, and as we're recording this. On today's episode, we're going to recap the final preseason games. We will catch up on all the Kraken news, and we'll have a preview of the first week of the 2025-26 season. First things first, we got to get hype, you guys, because MoneyPuck is back, baby! The Wheel of Death, which is going to dictate my mood for the next 7 to 8 months, however long it is back online for this season. The season has not even started yet, and MoneyPuck has the Kraken with the 5th worst playoff odds at just 14.5% and a 0.2% chance of winning the Stanley Cup. Their points projection was also 80.5 points, so they're having a little improvement on last season, or at least they're expecting one. And just for those curious, the Edmonton Oilers are the highest rated team with a 9.3% chance of winning the Stanley Cup. Are you guys ready to face the wheel day in and day out and check it daily with your morning cup of coffee?
Let's just address the dead horse in the room, the elephant in the room. With the fact that we literally are doing a podcast here with Nosferatu or someone that works for MoneyPuck, because Alex already...
First, pause. You mean Nostradamus. Nosferatu is the vampire, so it's definitely
I'm
not
sticking
that.
with Nosferatu.
Okay.
I'm sticking with Nosferatu, and I'm also sticking with dead horse in the room. Regardless, this guy either works for MoneyPuck or he's a vampire that turns off the lights. Because his points prediction has already been validated. Like what he said, 81, and MoneyPuck's saying 80.5. And I'm sure if you asked Alex, he'd probably say we were like 5th or 6th worst from the bottom. So yeah, I don't like that MoneyPuck is confirming Alex's predictions. But hey, you know what? It's just another person, in this case, a whole company, that will be against, what the optimists here on Beneath the Waves are saying.
The ironic part about all this is that I tried to remain optimistic, and I delivered a positive spin that saying that this team was going to get more points than they did last year. And there, here comes Derek being like all Mr. Negative Nancy over there, being like, but look, MoneyPuck actually agreed with what Alex said. Like, oh my God, no. But I'm thrilled. I'm so excited for MoneyPuck to really determine my mood for the foreseeable future, especially when January rolls around, where we spin the magic 8 ball and pray to the hockey gods that we have a chance. So, it's going to be fun times for the next 82 games and many months to come.
All right, a couple anecdotes from this table that I'm currently looking at. We are tied with Boston at 14.5%. Below us is Pittsburgh with 7.6, San Jose with 5.4, and Chicago with 4.8% chances of making the playoffs. And our current odds, according to MoneyPuck, to get Gavin McKenna in the draft is 6.8%. So maybe it's like it'll be more fun to watch that number go up as opposed to our playoff number going down. Note Derek's shaking his head. See, I did that to make Derek mad and also validate Alex. So I'm like standing right in the middle, both in the Zoom viewer and on this fence.
That's not in the middle. That's a swing that goes Alex's direction both ways because you're making me mad and validating him. So you're just it's the Canadian conspiracy yet again, but it's okay. But no, I mean 14.5, that's nearly a 1 in 5 chance if you think about it.
If you do some very generous, not at all accurate rounding,
It's cracking math.
that's a 1 in 5 chance.
That's cracking math.
All right. If you want to talk about more Canadian shenanigans, I wanted to first give a happy Abyss Jersey weekend to all those who were able to celebrate and had their snazzy new glow in the dark jerseys. Thanks to those who shared those with us. And I wanted to take a moment to voice mine and Alex's collective displeasure with the NHL Canada shop. We talked previously about how expensive it was to try to get one of those shipped up here with tariffs and stuff like that from the team stores. We're like, all right, we'll just wait till they go on general sale and hit NHLshop.ca. We have 3 jerseys that we can pick from. One of them is a Matty Beniers like cheapest option that's available. The other 2 jersey options are both for Philip Grubauer. So I don't know who's running the decision tree over at the NHL shop, thinking that Grubauer jerseys are going to fly off the shelf so much so that they need 2 of them. But for everyone who's getting their jerseys, I'm very happy for you and living pretty enviously right now.
Yeah, all we wanted were a couple jerseys, and all we got were a few misses. Just kind of what we're going to see when the pucks go flying in the back of the net when Grubauer plays, which will be
Oof.
on very few times because I think Matt Murray is going to have more opportunities. But hey, things can happen in hockey land, especially in goalie land. But if the NHL Shop Canada can figure it out and get some blanks or make them yourselves, custom jerseys, we'd be pretty happy up here because I can't afford to spend $800 on a jersey from the States. That just does, I just can't do that.
All right, over to Kraken proper news for this week. The biggest news to come out today was the opening night roster was officially revealed. We had a little bit of movement on the roster this week. First of all, we had some reassignments down to Coachella Valley. Ben Myers, Mitchell Stevens, and John Hayden were all sent down and they cleared their waivers. And Ville Otavainen and Oscar Fisker Molgard OFM were both reassigned down there as well. The roster has a lot of the people that you think would be locked on there, and there's a couple new kids on there as well. I'm gonna let you guys know these names. I want to know rather how you feel about them and their prospects of looking like some time playing with the team. First up is Ryan Winterton. How are we feeling about him cracking the roster for opening night?
I am feeling very great about Ryan Winterton. For so long, he's just been a guy that I hear faintly while I'm about to leave for a bathroom break in the middle of our podcast session. But holy, being at the game in person and seeing Ryan Winterton pop off recently, as we'll talk about a little bit later, just absolutely insane, incredible. I think it's huge. Obviously, it's just one game, but he's been consistently putting up like consistent numbers in the AHL the last 2 years. And also, I think he was in the OHL. Is that correct, Alex?
Yeah.
Before that? Okay, yeah, in OHL as well. And he's 22 now, right? And it's really good to see him potentially start to blossom. And it's going to be something that we're going to watch, super close as the season starts. So really exciting.
Ecstatic with Winterton. Was one of the players I didn't expect to make the roster, especially at the start of training camp. With who you had on the team, Winterton kind of felt like one of the odd men out right at the beginning. But he was given opportunities by management and the coaching staff, and he took them. And he took the risks and he's reaping the rewards. And I think he's going to be an extremely valid and important player on this team, especially for the fact that there's a lot of veteran players, but there's a lot of young players. And I think he's going to really pop off to be one of those young talents. In the line rushes, he was playing top 6 minutes, so it'll be interesting to see if that's going to remain. If not, definitely think he has a role somewhere on the third or fourth line. But I'm happy for him. If it doesn't pan out, he can still flip flop through AHL and NHL. So, but I'm glad to see them give him the opportunity to start the season.
Yeah, I definitely think he's kind of like the feel good story of this roster cutting group. Um, I think back to last week when we were saying that Yanni Newman gave management no choice but to put him in with the first couple games of the preseason. Ryan Winterton was making kind of a similar sort of case at the end with how he was playing. So, super excited to see him. Hopefully, he gets lots of times. Hopefully, he's able to keep that momentum going, and we'll see how that pans out. Another person we had who made the cut is Cale Fleury, coming up from Coachella Valley, and he's listed on the roster here. We do have some potential like injury uncertainties on our defensive part, but how we feel about Cale Fleury making this cut?
The only reason he's making this cut is because Riker Evans is out long term. And I know that sounds harsh, but Josh Mahura would be your seventh defenseman. Josh Mahura slots in for Riker Evans. You need the seventh defenseman. Hello, Cale Fleury. You have just made the seventh defenseman. You will be sitting in the press box, barring any injuries. Am I happy for him? Absolutely. Hopefully he can crack, some opportunities. If some players are not, delivering, or, in the hypothetical stance that Montour is not ready to play, then he's slotting in the home opener or the opening game. So for sure, but he's going to be caught in that position like he was last year, where he is going to be the seventh, eighth defenseman on this team, and he's going to be revolving back and forth between Coachella and Seattle all season long, I believe.
Yeah, Mr. Air Miles.
Yeah, I think that's just who he is. Like we've seen it for so long, and he's getting up there. And that's just who he is as a player. And there's really nothing wrong with that. Nothing against him, like Alex said. It's better than, we could do, better than a lot of AHL guys can do. A lot of AHL guys never even crack the NHL roster, even if they need some guy to even just sit in the press box. You're not good enough to even do that. So props to Cale Fleury for sure, but he is like that middle guy. Um, he can play well. He's played well in Kraken regular season games before. So that's cool to have as your seventh defenseman, someone who has experience and stuff like that, but not someone who I'm really looking at to like pop off potentially. I think it's already written.
It's like Alex said, we're going to talk about Riker in a second here when we do our kind of injury catch up, but someone's got to sit in the press box, especially when we have so many road games coming up here right after the first week of play. So got to have someone in the wings ready to go. One guy that made the cut that, like we just said a few minutes ago, was on in our books a sure thing was Yanni Newman. He had a stellar preseason, goals, assists all over the place. Just we knew this would happen, right?
We all expected this, especially when he got called up last season and just absolutely dominated in the few games that he did play up here. He was he was a goal scoring nightmare, especially on the power play. Which kind of leads me to the fact that, I don't know if anyone's looked at the line rushes, over the last couple days. He's been primarily put on a third, fourth line, which is slightly surprising. Because I feel like with injuries to Kako, Winterton's kind of getting that ability to play on the top six. I kind of suspected that Newman could have,
Oh my
given that
goodness.
opportunity, but with that third, fourth line role that he's going to be playing, you kind of think that at that point he'd be playing power play minutes, and he's not even in the power play power play role, which is concerning to me because he has the shot. He is a power play specialist at a very young age. He's proven already that he can do something on the power play in those types of situations. And if you're only going to grant him third or fourth line minutes, I do have concerns because and we're going to talk about someone else in this position very, very soon. but it gives me Shane Wright vibes in his first season and a half, where it was limited minutes. It didn't help with his development, but he was just there getting ice time. And I have concerns when this team is not a playoff team, in my opinion. They're going to try to convince fans that they are with a much more aging core, and you're going to have a lot of your young players suffer by not getting the time that they need in specific situations that would help further their development. And for Newman, he's too good for the AHL, but you need to give him opportunities. And I think one of the opportunities, even if it's on PP2, is a power play spot on the ice. And I feel like if he's only going to be there playing third or fourth line minutes and there's no opportunities on the power play, it's not going to help him.
Yeah, I almost feel like in a sense it is because the Kraken have lost so like many pieces that are, more veteran or like more like older and stuff like that. So that now they have to bring up people like quickly, like because we're not a team that's going on like cup runs and stuff like that. It does open us up to needing to play like for instance, Beniers. We played him like 12 or 13 games or whatever in his first season, like when we probably shouldn't have done that. We're a team that starts to burn these first years pretty quickly, as we'll talk about pretty soon too.
Random question: is Yanni Calder eligible for this season?
I
No.
don't believe so. He
Shoot.
burned a year on his entry level last year, but I also don't think he's eligible to be a rookie of the year.
Why wouldn't he be? Age or is he old? I think as long as he hasn't had a season where he played like 30 games or something, I think he is. I'm not sure though.
Well, Forbes had an article on September 26th saying if you're looking for a Calder long shot, you could do worse than Kraken winger Yanni Newman. So he must be.
Oh yeah, he is.
Ranking the top 20 Calder trophy candidates, Yanni Newman's listed.
Yeah, then yeah.
And then our
Yep,
last
he is.
bubble player who made the cut is someone that I was hoping for in camps leading up. Little more kind of in the middle based on how he performed in the games, but he is just a little bit, not even a baby squid yet. He is still a little WHL guy. Berkeley Catton made the opening night roster. How do we feel about Mr. Catton making it?
I love the fact that Catton was has made the Kraken roster. He's too good for the WHL. I feel like if he went back to Spokane, it would be a negative for him. Like be a regression because he's just too good for the league, and he needs to be challenged. It's unfortunate that he can't play in the AHL this season because that's exactly where he would fit perfectly, which kind of leads to the fact that he needs to play with the Kraken this season. Now, with that, they have the opportunity to play him 9 games or less before they burn, his first year of his ELC. But I'm very conflicted right now because, again, line rushes, and I know line rushes right now mean absolutely nothing. Like it means something, but also it can mean absolutely nothing. He's the odd man out in the forward group. To me, I don't like this at all because this just screams Shane Wright 2.0. Like, if are we just going to play him, once every 2 weeks, 2 times every 2 weeks? You know what I mean? Like, and then like how much ice time is he going to get? Like, because when Shane Wright first started in his first season, it was like 5, 6, 7 minutes a night. Like, that's not going to help you in any development. Like, let's be honest, Shane Wright's development was slowed down because of the amount of minutes he played in his first season. So, in my opinion, I want I want Catton to play as many games as he can, and I want him to play as many minutes as he can. So if he's at 9 games and he plays the first 9 games of the season, but he's getting like 12 minutes a night, I'm okay with that. Like I'm not expecting him to play first line or second line minutes. Like give him third line minutes. there's enough good players on this team that he can play a good solid third line role, but don't sink him in on the fourth line and he gets 6 minutes because he's not that type of player. And my concern is that he's going to be sitting on this team in November or even December, and he's not going to be playing enough. He's going to get a lot of experience in practice, but it's not the same as playing at the NHL level on the ice against NHL talent. So what I feel like is going to happen is he's going to be kind of back and forth. He's going to play a couple games here and there. They're going to loan him out to Coachella for that 5-game stint that he can do, kind of like Shane Wright. He's going to come back. He's going to go play for Team Canada at the World Juniors. And that at that point, once the World Juniors are over, it will be January. And at that point, hopefully the Seattle Kraken know exactly what kind of team they are, which most likely will be sellers. And you can keep Berkeley Catton with the Seattle Kraken and play him for the rest of the season in in a minute eating role. But that's kind of where I'm sitting with it. I'm happy he's made the team. I just hope they don't make the same decisions that they did with Shane Wright.
I kind of agreed with you up until you said that like they did this with Shane Wright as like an example of what not to do. When I think Shane Wright has turned into a great player. I think he's developing phenomenally right now. I think last year we saw that he was super efficient with the limited ice time he had. I think we all were saying give him more ice time last year. But go back 2 years ago, if we're doing the same thing with Catton that we did to Wright, maybe Catton the next year would be the exact same way as Wright was the next year, right? So maybe the organization is like, hey, this worked for Wright. This might work for Catton because, they're similar guys. They could go out there and score in the limited games they're at. Shane Wright that year, when he was brought in intermittently, he'd be brought in for like 2 games at a time and get like a goal and an assist in like each game. Like he was going off. He was popping off that year. But I don't know. Maybe Shane Wright's just resilient because Shane Wright, I don't know. Shane Wright's just insane. I don't know if Catton will follow the same thing. It remains to be seen. But who knows? Maybe this is good for development. I honestly don't know. And it seems like it worked with Wright. I was literally going to agree with you until you said, "Oh, this is what we did with Wright," and then it clicked. I was like, "Wait, but Wright's really good right now."
Like I do agree with you, but at the same time, I feel like 5 minutes a night for someone who in junior hockey would be playing 19 minutes. Like I know it's at a different level. Like don't get me wrong. Like, junior hockey players compared to NHL caliber players vastly different. But like I'm more in like on the side of like, because what I see for this team, and I know you're much more like, oh, I think this team could challenge for a playoff spot, and I'm not arguing, and I'm not arguing that whatsoever. Like I look at this team and I'm thinking, this team needs this young talent to start to like play games and kind of develop and learn in NHL games. This team is already struggling and is going to struggle with probable losing streaks and to keep a fan base interested, because let's be serious, by like January, a lot of people were tuning out. Like, why not just throw the rookies in and just give them what they want? Like, no offense, but like nobody's going to games because, like, I hate to say it, but like, I think everyone wants to see a winning team. And at the end of the day, I don't know if this team is going to this team's not going to be winning a lot of games. And I'm really set on that.
Well,
and
in your opinion,
it's my opinion. Yeah, it totally is. But like, I just think like give the fans what they want to see, and they want to see like this young core start to develop together.
Okay, I think we could close it off on this and then throw it over to Matt. But do you think that maybe throwing these guys in their first season or whatever out there, if you're claiming that the team is not structurally like the best, do you think maybe throwing these rookies out there might be kind of like throwing them to the wolves? Whereas like if we only put them out there 5 or 6 minutes at a time, we're kind of gradually like dipping their toes into the water, easing them in.
You want to
like,
wade them into a pool, not push them off the diving board.
Exactly. Take it away, Matt.
Oh, that's it. That's all I have to say.
Oh, okay.
That's my contribution to the conversation.
I like the sink or swim, but that's just me.
Fair.
I All right. One other opening roster thing worth chatting about is the team, as it was talked about before, as a possibility, did in fact go with having three goalies on the roster. We have Joey, we have Grew, we have Matt Murray. What do you think about this choice from the front office?
I like the three goalie move because we don't really know who is going to be that guy to be able to provide that 20 to 30 game life raft that Joey Decord's going to need when he's trying to, pull a UC Saros and, and carry the whole team this year. But I will say, I think it's leaning towards Grew. And I'm just going to say that. And we could talk about that later with the preseason performance too. But I'm a fan of Holland 3 at this point. I don't really think that we're really missing a spot anywhere else where, we're dying to have someone else on the team where we can't use that third goalie spot. So I think it's a smart move.
So we currently have $1.296 million in cap space. Just for the fun of it, we currently are, with the three goaltenders that we currently have, we currently are carrying 11.9 million in cap on our goaltenders alone. I just like to point
Didn't the
that
Rangers
out.
didn't the Rangers give that to one goalie?
Yeah, but
So we have almost a Connor McDavid in.
Basically we have almost a Connor McDavid in goaltenders and one
Almost a
for those.
Shesterkin.
Yeah, it's just like I thought it was interesting. Also, I kind of was mind blown to think that Matt Murray's only 31 because I thought he was like 39.
I know, right?
So
Right when they get about 32, you just feel like they're like 60 years old. Happens to me
no,
all the
no,
time.
no, but no, I thought I was older. I thought I was younger than him. Apparently, I'm not. So, it's the Kraken. The Kraken are just going to be doing Kraken stuff this entire season. So if they want to hold on to three goaltenders, I don't care at this point. Give Joey the rest because like they absolutely destroyed him come January last year, and the team just fell off the side of a cliff because Joey's legs just stopped working and his brain was like, "I'm tired, guys." And then they're like, "Well, we don't want to put Grew into this mess, so like let's just bring in Osman and Coco and and everybody else up because like good God, like we're just gonna feed Joey to the wolves." So if we have three goaltenders on the team, like it can't hurt at this point. Give Joey all the rest that he needs when he needs it. So yeah, I'm really really interested to see how they're gonna work with this because like clearly Joey's number one, but like in a back-to-back situation, like is Joey gonna like get a complete like day off, like 2 days off, where they're like, "Hey Joey, just don't come to the rink," or like, "Hey Joey, you see the press box up there? Go get some popcorn." Because Grew or Matt is going to be Matt Murray is going to be in net, and you're just going to be sitting up there, and there's nothing you can do. You're going to be our e-bug tonight. Like, yeah, I didn't expect them to do it, but like it's the Kraken, and the Kraken make wild decisions here and there, so they can just go ahead and have fun with it this year.
I just gotta say, I love Alex's complete apathy before the season has even started, where it's just like, oh, it's the Kraken. They're gonna lose every game.
I never said that.
No. But I do. I feel like Alex, in his head, the perfect Kraken season this year is like one of those silent films where everyone's like slipping around, like falling on their butt and stuff like that. That's the Kraken players, and then all the good ones are up in the press bridge just watching it and staying healthy, and then we get Gavin McKenna. That's like the perfect season for Alex, I feel like.
I'm just so sick of us being like a middle of the road type team that we're like, yeah, we finished 12 points off of last playoff spot, but like still like 13 points off of like last place, so we're like dead center in the middle. Like I just want this team to choose. Like I really just want this team to choose, like, are we a
NHL's
playoff
hard
team?
It's a competitive league.
No, I
It's
know
tough.
that. But like if I go by the metrics, if we go all the way back up to the start of this whole podcast, I kind of hope that we're exactly what the predictions are labeling us, because that means we are a bottom 5 team, which I'd be okay with.
Okay. I mean, I always want us to try our best to make sure we're all friends at the end of the season, but bottom five works too. Bottom five works too. NFL fans, what's your favorite touchdown? For me, it's the next one, because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. From first touchdown scorer to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. And here's the best part, bet just $5 and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN, that's code THPN, to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please pay responsibly on behalf of Boot Hills Casino Resort in Kansas. Fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive award. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.co/audio. We mentioned this a little earlier, some omissions on the opening night roster, as we have another major injury bug that has hit the Seattle Kraken. Riker Evans, our recently re-signed defenseman, is going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks with an upper body injury. That one just kind of came out of nowhere. I remember I sent the Seattle Kraken PR tweet in our little group chat. I just said, where the F did this come from? And yeah, that one kind of stung a little bit.
Yeah, I still don't know where he got that from. And like there was no like real discussion on it, like no like additional information as to how it happened, especially with like an injury that takes you out till like mid-November. So was a little surprised by that, but we carry on. Josh Mahura has the experience to do that, so I'm not too worried. He's going to fit that role perfectly, and once Evans gets back, he'll slot back in. We go from there.
Yeah, it's just heartbreaking, But I'm glad we didn't give him such a big like contract where it's like the end of the world. Like, if we had just given him like the Beniers contract and then this happened, I'd be like, oh my God. But like because it was such a smart contract by GMJB, the absolute masterclass of a GM so far, I don't feel as bad about it. Obviously, hope Riker feels okay and gets better. Like I'm not like okay that he's injured. That's not what I mean. But no, just from like a team structure and like going forward standpoint. But yeah, hopefully he comes back as soon as possible.
We do have some positive injury notes, though, however, when we put our list of all our injury woes last week. A couple of the names that were on that list are now back on the ice practicing with the team. Jared McCann, Chandler Stevenson, Vince Dunn, who we're going to be talking about later, went out with an injury, are back in normal jerseys practicing with the team. There was a practice yesterday that Brandon Montour did not participate in. He's still listed as day-to-day, so fingers crossed he'll be ready to go on opening night. But it's at least good to see some of these big key players making their way back from being down and out.
Yeah, please give me Montour back. Please, for the love of everything. But yeah, all I want to say is Dom is definitely really upset that Stevie's going to be back and cooking from day one this year.
Hat trick in the first game.
Prove him wrong.
Stevie's getting 100 points. I don't care. It's happening.
I hope so, because he was my pick for most points on the season. So fingers crossed that does in fact happen. So we did have our final 2 preseason games that happened since we recorded our last episode. Preseason game number 5 was against the Calgary Flames, and it was a 2-1 shootout loss. Quick rundown of the game for you. It was a fairly exciting one, with Berkeley Catton scoring his first, asterisk doesn't officially count, NHL goal after knocking in a rebound in front of the net, with the assists coming from Yanni Newman and Matty Beniers. As predicted by checks, notes, rifles through papers here, Matt and Derek last week, Philip Grubauer did play the entire game for game 5. And get this, he had a save percentage of 952. 952. We were talking last week about when will he be able to break 850 or 875, whatever we said. He got 952. Freddie Gaudreau had some very impressive moments in this game. He had this awesome almost spinorama goal that he pulled off, and then he was the only player to score in the shootout. The other attempts in the shootout came from Berkeley Cat and Matty Beniers, which just the internet loved seeing Matty Beniers go out for the shootout, and Shane Wright. The Kraken did unfortunately drop this game in the shootout, but it was a good showing. The one big notable moment from this game, we had noted, documented human trash bag Martin Pospisil, who caught Vince Dunn with a high stick and received a good series of punches to his face for his troubles. There is clips that went around of them heading to the penalty box after. I'm no expert in lip reading, but I did some research. Some people put some things online, and I'm pretty sure this is what Vince Dunn shouted. So just dramatic reading here. 1 second. One fucking time, I will fucking murder you. That sound about right? I made sure
How close is Lacey to your room?
I don't know. She's probably wondering who I'm yelling at. She's like, I thought you were recording the podcast, not playing Call of Duty. But that was what he said, and he was pretty fired up. So I'd say overall he handled that high stick well. Unfortunately, after he got out of the penalty box, he did head down the tunnel. He didn't play for the remainder of the game, and he did not play in the last game because he was listed with injury. But as we just mentioned, luckily he was back with the team practicing. So how do we feel after this game, the 2-1 shootout loss?
Okay, here's what I want to say while Alex is incapacitated by allergies or something else in his sinuses. Grubauer, 9.52. Okay. Joey Decord, 9.41 in the game that he played, the last preseason game. Matt Murray, the game that he played the entire time, 9.17. Okay. So all of those are good. All of those are great. Okay. But Philly Grewsteak is number one. Philly Grewsteak prevails. Okay. Philly Grewsteak is like Richard Sherman. Okay. That's what Philly Grewsteak is like. You don't talk bad about the best goalie in the league. Okay. And that's Philly Grewsteak. All right, that's all I got to say.
This is preseason. Nobody watches preseason.
Hey, I watched.
So you're telling me if Grubauer had like a 60 save
it.
percentage in preseason, you wouldn't care?
Oh no! Like you can have the worst preseason in the world, and I will still say it's preseason. Because
no,
preseason...
rewind it.
No.
Last episode, you said that Matt Murray playing a full game and doing well was indicative of him being the potential backup. Rewind.
I've always thought that Matt Murray was going to be the backup no matter what.
But you use the preseason game as a piece of evidence.
I'm using like previous seasons as a whole.
Oh, it's previous seasons, not pre.
You mean when he was playing in the AHL?
No, when he was playing with the Leafs when he had to play with the Leafs, or like when he played with Ottawa, or when he won freaking cups. I know he was younger then, but still, but like, yeah, great. I'm not going to complain the fact that all three of our attendees had great save percentages during the preseason. That's fantastic. I hope they transfer over to the regular season because if we have three NHL caliber goaltenders with great save percentages, we will win games. And that's what we all want.
And we're gonna win games.
Yeah. So, but from this game alone, Vince Dunn is the best little like Jack Russell, Jack in the Box type, like gonna absolutely murder you type person. That sounds horrible. We're just gonna revert all that, just get rid of it all. No, from this game, Vince Dunn's great, and I hope he gets his revenge one day.
Oh, I hope so. I can't wait for whenever we play Calgary first up and he just feeds knuckle sandwiches to Martin Popsicle. And oh man, it's gonna be so good. And I mean, I know I said before it doesn't count, but Berkeley Catton getting his first goal in the big pre-show is pretty awesome. So good on him. I was very excited when I saw that one happen. For our final preseason game, they faced off against the Edmonton Oilers. It was a 4-2 win. This was a very exciting game with some pretty surprising goal scorers and very strong special teams play. Josh Mahura finally had his first, doesn't count, goal in a Kraken sweater on the PP. Ryan Winterton followed this up with a shorthanded goal, which was just awesome to see, capitalizing on a very poor pass from Calvin Pickard. The PP unit made it 3 in a row when Ellie Tolvanen blasted a shot from between the two circles. And then, unfortunately, Edmonton did reply with 2 goals before Ryan Winterton sealed the deal with his second goal of the night. We talked about him before. Big, making his presence known, stating his case for the team from Ryan Winterton. Joey had a 941 save percentage in this game, as Derek just mentioned. And while Wintz was definitely the standout for this game, I'd have to say the same can't be said for Berkeley Catton, who had a good game the game prior, as he had 3 different penalties and committed many turnovers in this game. It just wasn't his day, so I was a little nervous for Mr. Catton when this game was all done.
Yeah. Josh Mahura, I literally jumped out of my seat and I said, "This doesn't count, but I don't care." I was pretty excited for him, and I think he was even excited for himself, kind of getting the monkey off his back, even if it was a goal that didn't count technically. Like he's like, "Okay, I finally did this. Maybe I can do this in the regular season." So that's a pro. Ryan Winterton, I think this game like solidified the fact that he was making the roster. Like I feel like he was kind of a shoe in to begin with, but like this game just like cemented that like he was going to make that roster no matter what. And then Berkeley Catton, buddy, buddy. When he skidded the box for the third time, I was like, let's just forget about this. Wait, thank God this game does not count because like definitely a game to forget.
Yeah, I don't even really remember Catton being in this game, to be honest. Probably because he was in the penalty box so much. But there was actually a lot of penalties in, I think, both of these most recent home preseason. I almost said playoff games, preseason games. So getting a little too ahead of myself here. Uh, but no, I think Gaudreau and Winterton, I think they had an amazing play where there was like a 2-on-1.
Yeah,
And
Freddie sent like a laser beam pass over to Winterton on his second goal. It
Yep.
was awesome.
Yep. And then there was also one, I'm not sure if this is the same one, but where they both entered like together holding hands almost, and they were both like super fast. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That one I was like, dude, these guys got speed, okay? And I know it's preseason. Like Alex said, no one watches preseason. Well, I guess you did, but whatever. But no, these guys were showing some speed, showing some skill. And yeah, I mean, back to the game before, Grubauer was just showing a ton of skill in the crease there. But yeah.
Uh, this isn't in the notes, but I'm doing an unplanned new segment. A first segment, really inopportune time for Derek to take a bite out of a granola
No.
bar. But this is going to be the first segment of Shovel Stories with Derek.
Oh my gosh.
Derek, do you have any fun stories from Ice Crew this week?
So we worked 2 games. We worked the 2 games that we just talked about. Um, Fun stories. One of our guys fell multiple times. He fell twice. And so then every time after that, I had to go up to him and make sure that he didn't fall. I was like, "Did you fall that time?" Every single time. I think that'll continue into the season. But super cool guy. And actually, he did the bucket for the first time. I'll talk about the bucket sometime, but he did the bucket for the first. It's very scary. I've never done the bucket. Like I'm never touching that thing. Very like you're the last one off the ice. Sometimes the ref will have you come back out all by yourself. It's like very scary. Um, but in terms of anything that went down, huge thing in our tunnel, Mariners players. Okay, Julio Rodriguez was like 20 feet from us. That's the highlight of this week. He was there getting on the Zamboni. He rode around before they had their 2 playoff games this week, and Julio's been pretty big in those, so it was pretty cool to see him there.
And that was Shovel Stories with Derek. I'm open to changing the title. I just like the alliteration of Shovel Stories.
I
But
like shovel stories.
okay, Shovel Stories is good. We look forward to more Shovel Stories from you. And perhaps one of those might come in the week ahead as we have 2 games as the Kraken regular season officially kicks off on Thursday. We have game 1 versus the Anaheim Ducks. And on Saturday, we have game 2 versus the Vegas Golden Knights. So one maybe at our level showing, one tough matchup. We'll see how it plays out. Do we have any feelings about these games ahead of the week ahead?
Both wins.
As is tradition, we always get handed by the Ducks. So I feel like that's going to happen, but we're going to pull off an absolute victory and make Mitch Marner cry in game 2 against the Golden Knights.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same kind of thing. We're gonna get smoked by the Ducks. I'm gonna say like 4-1. but then we're gonna beat the Knights like 5-2, and it's gonna be total opposite, bizarro world of what should have happened.
I think one of these games is going to be a shutout for Joey.
Okay. And just a reminder, in that first game, we have our first goal scorer predictions of Derek said Jordan Eberle, first shift.
Everly, yeah.
I said Mason Marchment, and Alex said Yanni Newman. So we'll wait and see what happens. Reminders on both those games. Get your Sasquatch NHL picks in on the social network that you use, Twitter, Blue Sky, all that kind of stuff. And we'll break those games down next week. To close things out here, a couple quick hits of news, Kraken and otherwise. We do have a Kraken signing that they have signed 2024 second-round pick Julius Miettinen to a 3-year entry-level contract. In 107 games with WHL's Everett Silvertips, the Finnish forward has 48 goals and 69 assists. He also had a pretty great weekend after signing that contract as he recorded 4 goals and 3 assists in 3 games. So good for him. I know he had some injury issues last year, but hopefully he gets a nice bounce back season this year and keeps that going. To Derek's delight, the puck drops on the Coachella Valley Firebirds AHL season on Friday in a home opener against the San Diego Gulls. So make sure you tune into that. All of our players that were sent down, as I said before, did clear waivers, so we have a full crew there. There's been some potential rumblings that Grizzly John Hayden will have the C on his chest with Captain Max out indefinitely, so we'll have to wait and see there. Alex, do you have anything you're looking forward to this season with the Firebirds, just kind of in general?
So I absolutely am fired up for the Firebirds. It's going to be an interesting season for them, mainly for the fact that it's a very young team this year. Over the last couple seasons, you've had a lot of veteran presence in that lineup, and so they're always competitive for that reason alone is they had that AHL experience. Last year and especially this year, it's a young team. Lots of young kids going to be in that lineup, so it's going to be interesting to see not only how they play together, but like really see how they take on other AHL teams. Yeah, if you haven't already, you can watch every Firebirds game on the Flow Sport app. You can subscribe to it monthly or yearly subscription. So just so everybody knows where you can watch that. And hey, it's extra hockey. So think about it this week. Kraken play on Thursday, Firebirds play on Friday, Kraken play again on Saturday. So you got 3 games in a row, 3 nights in a row where you get Kraken, affiliate hockey all at the same time. It's going to be a good time.
Awesome. Very much looking forward to breaking those down each week as well and following along with those baby squids. I do have a couple league-wide things that I thought would be interesting to chat about real quick. First off, we had 2 monster contracts signed in this last week. Earlier today, Edmonton Oilers captain Connor McDavid signed a 2-year, $12.5 million AAV contract. There is some interesting reactions from around the hockey Twitter world on this. What were your guys' reactions to Connor McDavid signing this 2-year deal?
I think Alex sums it up pretty well for what I think too.
Yeah, it's the contract is I want to win in Edmonton, and I'm giving you 2 extra years to do it. And if 12.5 million is not a Connor McDavid deal. Like in my opinion, Connor McDavid is worth $19 million at this year, like this right now as we're discussing things. So the fact that he took a team friendly contract, it's very much I will take a reduced salary. You build a team around that, and let's win a cup, or let's win 2 cups, or heck, let's win 3 cups, and see what happens. But I honestly think that if nothing does, come to fruition by the end of this contract and the end of this extension, that's just McDavid saying, "I give you every opportunity in the books to win a cup here, and you could not help me, and the guys here deliver that, and I'm out." So extremely team friendly contract by McDavid in that sense. But I definitely think that the Edmonton Oilers are on a true clock, and we could really be looking at in 3 seasons time Connor McDavid going to free agency the same year that Austin Matthews goes to free agency. Could be a very interesting summer that year.
It
I
might
think it's
also. Oh, go ahead.
I think it's smart with the 2 years too, because in 2 years' time, our cap ceiling is going to balloon to that top end value. So you can already hear the beeps in the far distance as the Brinks truck is backing up to his door.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say really quick that it might also incentivize, some like cup chaser, older, veteran players that might demand more money to like, hey, McDavid's doing this. I'll hop on this team. It might make the Oilers a little bit better when they're looking for free agents or like, yeah, that kind of stuff. That's the only other thing I can think.
Said
I
it
hate to
last week.
say it.
Jordan Eberle's going back to Edmonton.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I said, you know what? Depending where this team's at, come the deadline, like I don't know
He's
why.
retiring a Kraken. He's
No,
retiring
I
a
have this.
I
I
Kraken.
have this
hope so.
horrible. I do too, but I have this horrible feeling that if Jordan Eberle and the Edmonton Oilers come knocking and they say, "Hey, we would like to bring Jordan back," would you hate him for him to be like, "Yeah, I have to do this"?
No, I'd be like, get
Yeah.
that
No,
bag.
I wouldn't hate Everly for anything, but I would demand Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
That seems like a fair trade.
Yeah, perfect. We'll throw I don't know, like Leighton Road in there or something too to just
Hey, don't
balance it
knock
out.
Leighton Road.
That's
Don't
just the
knock
most
Leighton
obscure
Road.
pick I could have, okay, that I could pull. That wasn't the while that seems like a lot of money, somebody had Connor McDavid beat as Kirill Kaprizov signed a fat capital FAT contract extension with the Wild last week. 8 years at $137 million or 17 million AAV, the richest contract in NHL history. As soon as this contract was inked, everyone just thought that Connor McDavid would send this number through the roof. That wasn't the case. Uh, I don't follow the Wild super closely, but I mean, good on this guy for getting all that cash.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it's going up. To us in the hockey world, this feels like a lot, but it's actually just crazy because like my friends texted me this thing today about like the backup catcher on the Mariners who plays like 30 games a year, Mitch Garver. He makes like, the same amount of money as McDavid. So it's just insane that like, you have these like bona fide bums in other leagues that are out earning like the MVPs of the league by far. So I'm glad that the NHL is like starting to shoot up, because it felt like it was kind of stagnating, especially after COVID and stuff like that. So I'm glad that it's starting to shoot up.
It's a lot of money for a fifth round pick. I think it just kind of shows you that like it really does show you that like the NHL draft, no matter where you're drafted, like it doesn't mean that you're not going to turn out to be some like incredible player. Like I think that's one of the things I really look at. I'm like, but he's a fifth round pick. Nobody really expected him to be this type of a player. So the fact that he's now receiving, for the time being, he's receiving the highest AAV in NHL history is awesome. I think it's incredible. It's scratching my head because it's the Minnesota Wild. Like it's just to me like that's just a team that I'm just like okay like I know you can compete in the playoffs, but it's a very hefty contract. Like that's your player for the future. So you better build up around it. And I think Bill Guerin's got a quite a interesting challenge ahead of him.
Did you see the clip from the press conference when he came out afterwards and Kaprizov and GM are sitting down and one of the reporters is like, "Are you feeling good right now?" And then the GM goes, "Fucking better be." And I was just like, "Oh, that's a great little
Yeah.
hot mic moment." And I can't wait for 2021 fifth round pick Jacob Melanson in like 5 years to sign a $23 million contract based
All
on how this
right.
goes. Last kind of silly thing I want to talk about was the Battle of Florida that got a little nutty as the preseason came to a close. In the two games last week between the Lightning and the Panthers, there were a total of 460 penalty minutes dished out. On Saturday alone, there were 322 PIMs and 16 ejections, leaving the benches looking like a beer league game at 10:30 p.m. on a Monday. The Panthers ended up winning 7-0. It was 8-0, but one of those goals was called off after 15 minutes after it happened when it was realized that the eighth goal was assisted by a player who was ejected earlier in the game. So he just, I don't know, got lost on the way back to the locker room, I guess, and went back on the ice. As a result of the actions of this game, the Tampa Bay Lightning faced many repercussions, including a $100,000 fine to the team and a $25,000 fine to head coach John Cooper. This game was just bat-ish crazy.
Yeah, this is what preseason is all about. This is honestly like, if you like, preseason's like for everybody that's just trying to fight for a spot in the team, and like just chaos ensues. Like I remember going to a hockey game like years ago, and it was like, I think John Scott was playing, and if anybody remembers him, he was like the 6'9" enforcer for the Sabres. Tried to take on Phil Kessel on the Leafs, and then you got goalie fights. You name it. Like Clarkson jumped the bench. Like, it was just absolutely chaotic. It reminds me of something like that. Just players doing whatever they can to make an impact. And I think the cool thing with this is that the Battle of Florida has completely erupted. Like, I don't think a single game this season is not going to be rough.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh, I can't remember what side it was on, but one of the teams signed like a 6'9" defenseman guy, and they're like, just mark your calendars that November 21st or something is the first rematch of these teams, and look forward to that monster being in the lineup. So Andre the Giant out there just smashing people. All right, but that's going to do it for this week. We have, like we said before, exciting Kraken hockey in the week ahead. Official, real, it counts towards the MoneyPuck wheel. Kraken hockey up ahead. Derek, as we get out of here, can you let everyone know where they can find BTW online?
Yeah, I just want to say first, super hyped to have the Kraken regular season back. Super excited to see what they do this year. But if you want to go over and snag yourself some absolutely fire merch, whether that be stickers, hats, shirts, sweatshirts, etc., dog bandanas, fanny packs, whatever, go over to bit.ly/BTW store. We've built up so many different, logos type things that you can throw on and represent the team in a unique way. So go over there and check it out and see if anything catches your eye. That's bit.ly/BTW store. Thank you so much. Also, head on over to @Heather Nicole on X or @TheHockeyNewsW to go see Heather's articles. The link is in the show notes to go see her articles. And keep your eyes on our podcast feed to see when she drops more PWHL episodes. Lastly, please drop a follow and a 5-star review on the podcast app of your choice that you're listening to this on, and follow us on all socials, please. It helps us out a whole lot if you could take a second to like or comment on those videos, and keep up with our Kraken countdown, which is nearing an end, on Twitter and Instagram. Join us everywhere at BTWSEA. And I just want to say, unless you're Alex, okay, you think that the Kraken will be playing come May, so go drop a follow over at BTWSEA. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening.
We going beneath the waves. Going beneath the waves.